Welcome. In this video, we're going to determine if this telescoping series converges or diverges. And to do so, let's write out the first few partial sums. So remember, the first partial sum is just the sum from 1 to 1 of 1 over I minus 1 over I plus 1. So this is 1 over 1 minus 1 over 1 plus 1, which is 1 minus 1 half, and that's just 1 half. Now, let's look at the second partial sum. This is the sum from 1 to 2 of the expression 1 over I minus 1 over I plus 1. And then I'm going to take my first partial sum, but I'm going to take this one here. And you'll see why in a second. This is 1 minus 1 half. That's from my first partial sum. Then I'm going to add to that 1 half and then subtract 1 over 2 plus 1, which is 3. And this simplifies. If you notice, these two middle terms will vanish, minus 1 half plus 1 half, and we'll just get 1 minus 1/3. Okay, let's look at the third partial sum now. This is the sum from 1 to 3 of the same expression. And now I'm going to take the first and second partial sum, which sums to this here. So 1 minus 1/3. And to that, I'm going to add 1 over 3 minus 1 over 3 plus 1, which is 4. And again, these middle terms vanish here, and we get 1 minus 1 over 4. Are you starting to see a pattern here? Take a moment and see if you notice a pattern. Hopefully you've noticed a pattern here. So let's see if we can figure it out together in case you haven't. For our first partial sum, our result is 1 minus 1 half, which I can write as 1 minus 1 over 1 plus 1. For my second partial sum, my result is 1 minus 1/3, which I can rewrite as 1 minus 1 over 2 plus 1. And for the third partial sum, the result of 1 minus 1/4 can be rewritten as 1 minus 1 over 3 plus 1. What about now? Do you see a pattern? Okay, so now let's look at that pattern. What is the nth partial sum according to that pattern? And to make it easier, I'm going to write this how I did with the erasable ink. There we are. So for each partial sum, we end up with 1 less the unit fraction with that partial sum plus 1 in the denominator. So this will be 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. So recall, if the sequence of partial sums converges, so if this sequence converges, then the series converges. And this is, of course, assuming that this is the partial sums for this infinite series. So let's see if this sequence of partial sums converges. So to do so, we're going to look at the limit as n approaches infinity of 1 minus 1 over n plus 1. This is going to be 1 minus the limit as n approaches infinity of 1 over n plus 1. This limit here is just 0, and we end up with 1. So what conclusions can we draw now? All right, so conclusions that we can draw now. The sequence of partial sums converges. Hence, the series also converges. Hopefully you found this helpful. Now keep calm and math on, and don't forget, you got this.